Hi, my name is Zachman, and I am going to tell you about my life story with Togaf. But firstly, I am going to tell you a little bit about myself. The Zachman framework is more of a schema, which is an intersection between two historical classifications that have been used for thousands of years. The first is from the communicative interrogatives, and the second is from the reification transformation. It provides a synoptic view of the models needed for the enterprise architecture. The second one is the 5 Ws in H, like I mentioned. They make up the rows of an illustration of a typical framework. These are the communicative interrogatives that build up the framework together with the reification transformation. And lastly, the ontology, which is the theory of the existence of structured sets of components of an object, which explicit expressions is necessary for creating, operating, and changing that object. This ontology is derived from old architecture and engineering that organize and classify the physical design created during the design process.
Hey, my name is Togaf, and yes, the first three letters are the open group. This means I wasn't just initiated by one person, but a group of people had a hand in the birth of me. I am also a framework for enterprise architecture, and I provide an approach for designing, planning, implementing, and governing an enterprise information technology architecture. So I was initiated in the 90s as a method of technical architecture and has been developed by the open group, as I've said above. And I rely heavily on modularization, standardization, and existing technology to carry out extensive design. To date, the latest version released was April 2018, but from 1995, when the first version was released, there were updates. For example, there has been a technical framework for information management developed by the U.S. Defense Force and a technical edition that was published December 2001. The architecture development method is a result of continuous contribution from many architect practitioners. It describes a method for developing an enterprise architecture and forms the core of Togaf, me. It integrates my elements as well as architectural assets to meet the business and IT needs of an organization. The similarities between Zachman and Togaf is that we are both enterprise architecture frameworks. We both encourage a tough coverage of what, why, when, who, and where questions while working down from strategy to implementation. We cover similar domains, including business drivers, business process, data, information, location, technology implementations, and networks. We are both IT-centric, meaning we need to expand to cover non-IT business context. The Zachman framework clearly describes using row and column matrices the architectural products that are to be provided. Completely implemented, a Zachman architecture is a comprehensive document that describes everything an organization does in exhaustive detail. Togaf, on the other hand, describe an architecture development methodology without clearly describing the artifacts that are to be developed using the methodology. In practice, neither I nor Zachman provide concrete recommendations for defining useful products.
So, one of my successes were at the Government of Ontario. It developed an enterprise architecture using the Zachman framework as the foundation for coordination, planning, and implementation of its information technology and management. Its goal was to improve overall communication between government and businesses while creating easy access to both information and business in and outside the government. In so doing, Ontario officials created a time-saving management framework that helped lower its administration costs while identifying opportunities for business change among architectures. The new enterprise architecture was a holistic business and management framework that defined the entire enterprise architecture. It helped the government of Ontario employees to build a common language and format that linked its planning, policies, and IT architectures, increased integration between IT and programs, and better aligned nine separate infrastructure problems. So, life has its ups and downs, right? I have my failures as a framework, and I'm gonna briefly tell you about one. This was at the Jefferson Dry Cleaners. They had a lot of problems while using me as a framework. One of the problems was that they fell short at prescribing detailed solutions for enterprise problems. There was no step-by-step procedure for creating a new architecture, no help in deciding if the future architecture is the best for an organization. A deficit of the framework is that it doesn't provide any insight into relationships between single models. Further, it does not specify how to collect, manage, or interpret information that is organized in the framework. So, as a framework, it has been emphasized that it needs to constitute a structure for documenting an enterprise architecture.
One of my success stories is the Dairy Farm Group in Hong Kong. This is a retail company and it is a major retailer involved in the processing and wholesaling of food and personal hygiene. It uses Togaf as the basis of an enterprise-wide IT architecture to consolidate several disparate business units. Their mission, or their business mission rather, is to be the largest and leading organization in the industry. The issue that they have is that the organization had underinvested in technology. The benefits of implementation of IT architecture using iTalkF is that it is good IT infrastructure development, which will facilitate the move from federate to a group organization with central buying and distributing. And it also provides better response to the competition within the industry, and it reduces the financial risk for the organization. Sadly, I have a failure. It is of the Fatalahi and Shams company, which pointed in their paper that most of the enterprise architectural tools, such as system architecture, have compatibility with my boyfriend Zachman framework. Along with this, the most applied and used methodology for enterprise architecture planning provided by Stephen H. Sparework is also intended to develop its products based on the Zachman framework for architecture and not me, Togaf.